Well, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Investor Talk. And I'm sitting here with Robert Kiyosaki. Now, Robert Kiyosaki is an American investor, he's an entrepreneur, and he's an author. He's a straight shooter, and he says things as they are, which I think is very important. We need to assess things straight down the line, and he has the courage and the intentions to say that. And I think the last time we had a discussion, I think it was August 2015, you're predicting that there's going to be a long recession, a financial crisis, a crash, a financial crash.
What I predicted has already happened. See, when people look at crashes, it doesn't always appear in the stock market or the real estate market and all this. It can appear in the bond market, and right now it's in the FX market, foreign exchange. So that's why the rand is now, I think, 13 something to the dollar. Yes. That means your currency is crashing.
Yeah.
And that means people don't want to do business with South Africa.
Yeah.
And if everybody was doing business with South Africa, the rand would be up at 7 again, or 8, you know what I mean, in that range. So you guys are crashing, but so is the world crashing. And so my predictions are coming true, and it's a frightening time. I mean, even for me, it's so frightening because I don't know where the next shoe is going to drop. It could be a terrorist hit. You know, it could be anything right now. It could be one of those things like EMPs, electromagnetic pulse, that wipes out the global grid, which is predicted. In America today, more retailers have closed this year than after 2008.
Wow.
And the things I'm concerned about is I do have hotels. Airbnb is wiping them out, you know what I mean? So I've got to be very, very careful today.
So what do you think will be the effects if that American economy crashes first? You predict it could happen in America first?
It's already happening, is what I'm trying to say to you. I mean, people just don't see it.
It's not official. We apparently are in technical recession in South Africa.
Of course. I know. So is the U.S. They just don't report it that way.
Yeah.
You see, our Treasury, it's how they report. They say unemployment's down at 4%. It's actually at 19%.
Wow.
Because they lie. Our governments lie to us. I mean, I'm talking about the U.S. government. And that's what my friend here, Trump, is fighting. I notice. Trump, I'll just say, he's a good friend of mine, but he has a disease I have. It's a disease called you put your foot in your mouth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because he can't stand, he's not politically correct. He tweets and says things he really shouldn't say.
No.
Yet, there's a class of people that love him.
Right.
You know, and most people hate him. There's this great book in America called White Working Class. These are the guys that vote for Trump, you know, because he fights for them.
Right.
These guys hate Obama and Hillary. Okay? And the key here is working class.
The blue collars.
They're not even blue collar. You know what Hillary says, anybody who votes for Trump is uneducated and deplorable. Like she's speaking about people like me. You know? And Obama said, look it up. He says only people that vote for Trump are gun carriers and the Bible carriers. He pissed these guys off so much. He said because these guys believe in they're very religious.
Yeah.
Their highest value is their family. You know, it's not how much money they make, is they want to take care of their family. And the white working class in America is saying our kids don't have a future. And it's because what this woman, great woman, Joan C. Williams, she writes, the people like Obama and Hillary, and it's not them, it's that class, that demographic underneath Obama and Hillary.
Right.
They think it's okay you export jobs. He said, we're going to be big. He says, it's okay that we export our jobs to China and Mexico because we're helping those economies. Meanwhile, the white working class is going, hey, what about us?
Yeah.
You know, these are the plumbers, these are the ranchers, these are the cocktail waiters, the hotel, the people that actually work. They're saying your jobs don't matter. And then the other thing that's really bugging these guys is, I laugh about it, but I don't know which toilet to go to anymore. You know, today am I gay? Am I lesbian? Am I this? You know? And they say Obama and Hillary care more about the gays and this and the transvestites and that, and they're going, it violates their core values.
Yeah.
They're very religious. They like straight missionary sex. Do you know what I mean? And so there's a war. I mean, it's not just here in South Africa, it's in America. And I think this is a very important book for every South African, black and white, to read.
Yeah.
Because this is not about Hillary or Trump or Obama.
Right.
It's about the economy that's crashing underneath us.
Yes.
And that's what I predict.
Right.
Because the economy is going to change so big that the idea of going to school to get a job is an obsolete idea.
Right. So obviously, as the way forward is to be entrepreneurial. We know that. But we've got so many people who are unemployed. The poor. I mean, we've got massive poverty in South Africa, inequality, and I mentioned earlier 28% unemployment. That's extremely high. I mean, they got no clue. I mean, they're rioting and they demand everything all the time, and the government keeps on looking at them, but they're not looking after them. So the question is, where does it leave the middle class? Where does it leave everybody on all the different levels? Obviously, the wealthy have choices. But,
well, you've played right into my hand here.
Okay.
This is my latest book. It's Why the Rich Are Getting Richer.
Okay.
And what is financial education, really?
Okay.
And if you're a real estate person, you're going to love this book.
Great.
The reason is there's three reasons why the rich are getting richer. Number one are crashes.
Okay.
You say, 2008, I thought I died and went to heaven. Interest rates dropped like this, and prices of real estate dropped. So with that, I borrowed $300 million US and started buying property. I'm not doing that today. That was 2008.
Yes.
But I am looking at properties that are crashing.
Right.
And then I have to understand the demographics. You know,
Yes.
I mean, if there's no jobs in the area, I don't buy. There's jobs in it.
Yeah.
And so one is crashes. Number two is debt.
Yes.
You see, the interest rates will stay low because they have to try and they want you to borrow. So tax crashes, then the debt, so I can borrow again. Now I've got to be careful what I'm buying again. And the third thing, which is the most important, are taxes. You see, I don't pay any taxes. My friend doesn't pay taxes either. So in this book here, it's about what is financial education really. It's about crashes. It's about debt, low interest rate debt, which is crushing savers. You know, the old guys like me who saved money, their savings are worth nothing because they got no interest for it.
Yeah.
So interest, and then debt, and then taxes.
For some people, they don't see the wood from the trees. They got bad debt, and a lot of bad debt.
Because they bought badly.
Yeah. So and they sort of stuck in this huge hole. They say, well, how do I get out? How do I invest in a $300,000? You know, how do I get finance for something like that? And there are various ways. It's being obviously, being creative and that kind of stuff. But there's some people really, and I think you covered that a lot before in your teachings. Just share a little bit about.
Yeah, let me just say this. 2000 was really easy. There was a crash called the dot-com crash in 2000.
Yeah.
Followed by 2007. We've had three major crashes, bigger than the stock market crash of 29. Three major crashes in the first 10 years of this century. If that doesn't tell you this baby is coming down, those are like tremors or earthquake. The thing that has happened, and the reason that I have my education courses and all this, the days when you could just buy a property and the bank would give you the money are gone.
Yes. Yeah.
The banks are under constraint now. So in simple one word, got to be more professional. I think the best movie everybody should watch today is called Back to School.
Right.
Was in the 80s or something.
Okay.
And Rodney Dangerfield
is
in the classroom.
Yeah.
And the professor gets up and he says, okay, we're going to talk about how we have to build this project and build this widget. The first thing Rodney says is, nah, that's not the way you do it. The first thing you got to do is grace the politicians. And everybody goes, well, we don't do that in school. He says, well, And Rodney's sitting there. I mean, look, you guys, grow up. This is a tough game.
Yeah.
You know, this is not just buy something and make money. Those days are gone. You got to be a more professional, got to know the game.
Robert, thank you very much. It's great insights. And
thank
you very much. And it's wonderful always getting all this insight. And thank you for all your contribution to South Africa. We really need your kind of input.
Hey, this is the most exciting time because there's going to be a lot of losers coming up. Just don't be one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.